Excellency, Ambassador from Portugal, and worthy for sparing time. We are ending the week on a note of hope. By a local Kashmiri young man. That attack led to a full-blown crisis between two nuclear-armed neighbors. I think that the event of the past few days do not need to be mentioned here, but in a sense, what began as an attack on occupying Indian forces this time, but in the past as well.
Lieutenant General retired Asif Yasin Malik is our first speaker, is former Secretary of Defense, Ministry of Defense Pakistan. He has asked our worthy speakers. Now I would like to hand over the session to our worthy chair, Lieutenant General retired Asif Yasin Malik. Over to you.
All about, and if we see escalation, it's a self-explanatory word. What is the objective of the country which wants the escalation? Is it subjugation is generally the trend, which is in case of India, but it could be to one particular issue, all-out war. That is the other sort of objective of escalation. So therefore, one has to be very clear in analyzing the escalation. Where is it leading to, and what is the objective into war or not transiting to war? So in case of India and Pakistan, we war, or it is just escalating it for objectives that it is determined. In my view, primarily why the Indians want to escalate is, or the trend that is going on of these strikes and all that, precision missions, is to gain a status equivalent to the superpowers. And this idea is in the Indian mind since the drone strikes on Pakistan. From there they picked it up that if United States can carry out drone strikes in Pakistan or the Osama bin Laden raid, if India does similar things, it would become in that club of countries which has the capability and power to go into other countries, carry out some sort of activity and come back. But we must understand such activities are very vague sort of thing. There are difficulties in confirmation procedures, as we say in the case of the drone strikes by the Americans in the FATA. Most of the drone strikes were not sort of, both have similar sort of patterns. There's de-escalation is more difficult than escalation. And for a country like India, which is trying to project itself, it becomes. Now, there are certain principles of escalation. And most important is that when you, that we will go up this ladder and we will come down in whatever procedure. If we have not thought of de-escalation of the Indians, they were escalating and did not sort of think of a response by Pakistan. The response options, and as the Prime Minister said very well, these are our options and we'll surprise them with our options. And we did surprise them. I think they could never imagine that we will shoot down their aircraft in our territory. Therefore, they did not sort of have the de-escalation ladder or the climb system. Now, India-Pakistan, I have explained, India has a raison d'etre for this in the so-called jihadi elements in Pakistan, and they have been talking of, Jaish and whatnot, and now they are talking of Murid-K. Incidentally, Murid-K has been attempted many times, but they didn't cross the border. Last attempt was somewhere in '96 that Indian jets came into Pakistan also. I think that was the last military violation of a serious nature that we had to go on alert. But I think the then government decided not to create a war hysteria or something. But the Indians came over Sialkot city and then went back when the Pakistanis scrambled. Now, I beg to slightly differ with you, sir, about the international community's effort to de-escalate the situation. I think it is the international community which is responsible for this escalation, or the Indians, their sort of bravery, bravado to do this. All that they are doing is on the behest of encouragement of the international community. This bogey of Pakistani state sponsorship of terrorists has been not only played by the Indians, it's been played by the United States also and some other countries also. So in my opinion, it is the international community which has given the Indians sort of carte blanche to do what they like, and it has different political connotations. One is with Pakistan itself, that being the only Muslim country with the capability, strategic capability, it has become a thorn in the places of the Western community, and the so-called story of proliferation and all that. So I think primarily it is the international community which has encouraged India to take such steps, and becoming, it's been adding fuel to the fire. Now if the international community are scared of our responses, so I think they should better move very quickly from military soldiers. But I think this has been a blotch on their face, from which it will be very difficult to come out. So with these few words, we will now commence with the activities, and I request Ambassador Zamir to put forward his views.
I do so with all humility, seeing all the professional and very capable people around this table. And I must say that when I was preparing for this presentation, I had to keep changing it because of the rapidly changing situation between India and Pakistan with the current crisis. So I decided that perhaps I could divide this into two parts. One would be a sort of academic understanding of what we are talking about when we talk of escalation management and control. And the second part would be to see how it operates, not just in the India-Pakistan context, but broadly speaking in other crises as well. So I think we can qualify or define escalation management and control as a process by which a conflict can be prevented, in other words, managed and controlled from intensifying and becoming more dangerous. I researched this and came across two quotes which I'd like to repeat here. One is by Henry Kissinger, who stated that escalation is the addition of increments of power until limited war insensibly merges into all-out war. So for him, escalation management requires that this end state of all-out or total war should be prevented. I rather prefer the second definition, which is by Bernard Brody, who all of you know is one of the leading academics on nuclear strategy. He says that curtailing objectives of outright victory and lowering military costs and penalties from going beyond the level of the tolerable. So if you see this is, and you apply this is what has been happening in this crisis. This is precisely what in reality the Indians have been trying to do, and I'll come back to that in a bit. So, in the context of crisis or conflict between two nuclear weapon states, when escalation management and control becomes exceedingly important, The escalation management and control requires that both sides ensure that nuclear deterrence does not fail and that mutual assured destruction is prevented. India and Pakistan, as we know, are nuclear weapon states, and therefore any crisis, conflict between the two would be extremely damaging, cause massive damage to not just the two countries but the region and broadly internationally. So deterrence, especially nuclear deterrence, becomes an extremely important objective for both sides. But deterrence is an abstract notion. Essentially, it exists in the mind of the opponent. And if the opponent is not convinced that the other person or the other side will use its nuclear weapons, then deterrence can break down. And that is really the purpose of the credibility of deterrence, to ensure the opponent that you are willing to use your nuclear weapons in the objective of defending yourself in a crisis. So the point is that in the real world, nuclear deterrence has never been tested. Its discussion, therefore, such as today's, can at best be theoretical. Again, I'd like to quote Brody when he says that nuclear weapons are not for fighting wars but preventing them. So the moment you start using nuclear weapons, deterrence has broken down. And as General Nasir said, you may have gone up the escalation ladder, but it becomes virtually impossible to climb down, especially if it's the nuclear escalation. I also want to quote one of my favorite quotes from Mike Tyson, the American boxer. I think most of us know this. He said that everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. So we here in Pakistan or in India or even in the United States or Russia or others all have very elaborate schemes and plans about deterrence, about escalation ladder, about escalation control, all those very nice, theoretically set out plans. But in case deterrence fails, then we do not know how it will end. And that's precisely the kind of point that Prime Minister Imran Khan has made in his own way, that we can start wars, but only God knows where it will stop. So in this situation, the purpose of deterrence, the purpose of escalation management and control is very important, because it is aimed at ensuring that deterrence does not fail. We have looked at this issue in an academic sense, used the Cuban Missile Crisis as a model on which all this literature research is based. And one of the most famous persons to do this kind of research, rational actor model theory on the Cuban Missile Crisis. But as he himself says, the assumption that decision makers will act rationally in a crisis is a very big assumption. Because a rational actor model requires that everyone, not just both the protagonists, both the adversaries, will act in a rational way, and that kind of an assumption is very good. Nevertheless, there are certain requirements that would need to be pursued in order to ensure escalation management. The first is that there have to be reliable means of communication and signaling between the two protagonists. Then there has to be transparency way that one side sees the other. And by transparency, I also mean credibility. There has to be credibility that what the other side is doing is actually what they are doing. Then, most importantly also, there has to be a shared interest in escalation management and control. There has to be, you have to have a partner who shares your objective of de-escalation. Because de-escalation cannot be a one-sided. Another requirement is that deterrence has to be credible. If the other side views that your deterrence is not credible, especially in a nuclear environment such as ours, if the other side does not believe that you have the willingness to use your nuclear weapons in defense, then your deterrence will not be credible, and then if it is not credible, it will be very difficult to de-escalate. Another factor, complicating factor, is the role of public opinion. We are seeing this being played out immensely in the Pakistan crisis, particularly from the Indian side, where in view of latest developments in technology, you have the so-called social media spewing venom, and the television stations and all these engaged in virtual war games on the TV screens. This adds to what is already a complicating issue, which is probably called the fog of war, and that fog of war is very, very tense right now between India and Pakistan. Another factor is the differential in costs of the conflict and crisis. If two parties are not evenly matched, one of them is more powerful than the other, but alternatively or conversely, if one of them has less to lose because it has less, it is lower on the scale of development, that also has a bearing. War against the Taliban in Afghanistan. US insignificant compared to the costs for the US. The US has spent $3 trillion in Afghanistan, whereas the Taliban have actually spent very little, and they continue to go on fighting, and almost endlessly. And so the onus comes on the US because it spends more and therefore needs to de-escalate. The need for it to de-escalate. Then there is the issue of the end state. Will the end state after the de-escalation be better than what the state was before the crisis began? And if it is not better than what it was when the crisis began, then the willingness to de-escalate may not necessarily be there. This again, pick up from what General Asad Yassin said, and the dilemma that is facing Mr. Modi today is that the end state today may not be as attractive as he would like it to be if he de-escalates and accepts that he will go into an election where Pakistan seemingly has the upper hand. So that's and then finally there is a role of international players in the crisis in managing a crisis, or helping to de-escalate a crisis. Normally you can call them crisis managers. But the crisis manager role requires that they have credibility on both sides in this deterrence. And that is what the capability that full spectrum deterrence provides Pakistan in the Indo-Pakistan context. We could go into detail as to how it does it, but that's at least how I see that document. Signaling did take place. One major signal was the convening of the meeting of the NCA. And for those in India who would bother to read their own history, part of which they don't own anymore, but the reference by the Prime Minister yesterday to Bahadur Shah Zafar and Tipu Sultan was also a signaling. Whereas when he said that we would prefer to die than to be kept in captivity, this is what Tipu Sultan did. And that was his, Israelis call it the Samson option. So that's our Samson option.
Thank you.
Okay. As far as in my experience is concerned, the 2 or 3 crises that I have been involved in, the military and the foreign office or the political leadership was on the same page. Whether it was brass tacks, or whether it was 1990, or whether it was 1988, nuclear tests, or whatever it was. So there was no difference of opinion, and there cannot be, because unless you have a unified response, you cannot have a credible policy. But I think that we have to distinguish between what the Indians are claiming and what they have actually managed to do. My view is, I could be wrong, but my view is that they knew as much as we know that in that area there is nothing. Perhaps in the old days, I don't know. May have been some camp. I don't know. But at the moment there is nothing, and the international community, international media, everybody has gone there to see for themselves. So I think the Indians are not so stupid as not to know there is nothing there. They could have targeted Muridke and caused thousands of casualties. They didn't. I think they didn't do it deliberately because they didn't want to create that kind of. Basically, this is a problem. Pulwama is a problem for Mr. Modi internally. And I mean, you can then, there's a lot of conspiracy theories also. Some of them even say that Modi created this thing in the first place in order to get some kind of leverage, in order to get some kind of mileage for his own domestic political capital. That, again, is speculation. But I think that they deliberately chose not to attack a target which could have caused the level of damage which would have escalated this crisis even further.
Short comment by the chair.
Thank you very much. I'll just give some of my observations. I think the first thing is, of course, the Afghan situation also, they had invested so much politically, and now Pakistan was coming forth, and they have not been asked sideline, and maybe the investment coming in Pakistan, all these factors. Now, I agree with you, sir, that I think the dynamics of escalation and de-escalation are well known by both the sides, and they are behaving accordingly. But now, what happens afterwards? In my opinion, as the situation stands today, the morale of the forces, I mean, they are a bit far, they are large forces, and so what would be the input of the 3 chiefs to the political government? And then the last thing, of course, is the face saving. So in my opinion, and I will take the risk of prediction, that the moment you hand over the pilot today, tomorrow the escalation will go a notch up, and it will be done by Indians. Thank you.
Making some observations. You see, in the first place, the points that strike me is that in the first place, our previous experience, and I was also involved in some of the things that happened, has the most striking one that comes to my mind is Robert Gates coming to Islamabad in 1990, and Benazir was abroad as Prime Minister, and I received him at 2 a.m. At the airport, Chaklala, and he met Jeb Ghulam Shah Khan. And you know, there was this suspicion that Pakistan was moving its nuclear, undeclared nuclear arsenal, some weapons in Balochistan. Anyway, these kind of things make interesting recall. But the present, I think, is very different from 1998 from Kargil. For one, Modi is a different kind of person from what the Indian Prime Ministers have been. And secondly, the US is not an honest interlocutor this time. Because in the past there was this semblance that they were being neutral. But when Gates came, I remember the way he spoke. So now it's different. The US is in a strategic partnership with India. So, I mean, the last crisis in 1999 with Kargil is more than 20 years old, or nearly 20. So, I agree that the requirements that you said, Zamir, that requirements of escalation management are not met today. Those requirements that should be there. And by the way, Modi's approval rating has gone up. I heard it on the BBC today, this morning. So, I mean, he's, savoring the glory or the happiness of having achieved something. So, to me, the only hope or only possibility of de-escalation or some kind of restraint lies in the international community acting. And there also the international community, as you said, and Hafiz said. So we have to be mindful of that. India is not likely to back down, and I agree that we might have taken a generous step of magnanimous step very too hastily. But anyway, maybe it will do some good. So we have to see. But the outlook looks not so good yet.
Except passport return. In my opinion, this pilot is a sort of a neutral entity, other than Pakistan gaining some sort of international, some nice things. India is not bothered about one odd wing commander who is already a prisoner here. So his going back or not going back will not dictate the Indian response system. But I think in a way, yes, we've been hasty also, but then what we have Kulbhushan. Who cared in the world about Kulbhushan? Nobody bothered. Even some of our political leadership did not use the word K. So therefore, I think we are giving him back. His family is in trouble also, and it's a humanitarian gesture. Like good Muslims, I think we have done good. Ji, sorry. Ji, please.
Thank you. Sir, I think thank you to IPA. I think a very timely and
did not respond to a honorable face-saving way out of this situation for them.
yes.
So one thing that Mr. Sarwan Lakwi has mentioned is, I think, very pertinent, that they will say that you hand over or bring to justice or whatever, Maulana Masood Azhar, Hafiz Saeed, so act on those. So they've also given a so-called dossier. What is in that dossier, one doesn't know. But, so this is one thing that they would expect us to do to escalate. At the same time, they are turning our willingness to de-escalate as a sign of weakness. Okay, so if you see the Indian media, They are saying that this Air Force pilot is being returned because of pressure, and that Imran Khan is begging for peace, and again, as you say, Mr. Modi's graph has gone up. If they are sensible, and if Mr. Modi, this is what he wanted, if he sees his graph going up, that's where he should end it. But I'm not sure that this is going to happen. Because even if you remember, after Kargil, with the de-escalation, the withdrawal of Pakistani troops, in fact, the attack on troops that were leaving in violation of the understanding that Kargil was. One of our airplanes, which was not a fighter, was shot down.
Atlantic Navy.
The airplane. Okay. So even 1 month down the road, if they get a chance, they are going to hit back. I know the Indians, believe me, they are not going to forgive this and forget this. So we have to be ready.
Jivo.
खास तौर पे जो पायलट की रिहाई का भी उसमें जो है आप इनको कैसे देखते हैं इन स्टेप्स को, इसके बाद क्या सूरत हाल जो है वो खास तौर पे जो आप इंडिया का माहौल है तो डी-एस्केलेशन की तरफ जाएगी ये सूरत हाल?
हमने तो अपनी तरफ से जो इक़दाम किए हैं वो उसका तो मकसद ये है कि हम कशीदगी को कम करें और डी-एस्केलेट करें। ये हमारे ऊपर जो हिंदुस्तान की तरफ से हमला हुआ था उसका हमने जवाब दिया, और ये हिंदुस्तान को हमने बता दिया कि हम इस किस्म के जो हमारे पर अगर कोई हमला होगा तो हम आगे भी जाके इसका जवाब देंगे, और हम में ये काबिलियत है कि हम इसका जवाब दे सकें। कल प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब ने ये भी अनाउंस किया गया हम इनके जो पायलट यहाँ हमारे तरफ गिरा था उसका जहाज़, उसको भी हम वापस करने के लिए तैयार हैं एज़ वन ऑफ द मीन्स टू डेमोन्स्ट्रेट कि हम डी-एस्केलेट करना चाहते हैं। ये भी उन्होंने कहा कि जी हम आगे अगर आप जब तक अगर आप हमारे ऊपर हमला नहीं करेंगे तो हम आपके ख़िलाफ़ कुछ नहीं करेंगे। तो ये तो हमने अपने इक़दाम किए हैं अपनी तरफ से। अब देखना ये है कि हिंदुस्तान में इसका जवाब क्या होता है। अब तक जो हम सोशल मीडिया पे या उनकी इंडियन मीडिया पे जिसका बड़ा ही नेगेटिव रोल रहा है, और उनके जो गवर्नमेंट की जो स्टेटमेंट्स भी आई हैं, मोदी साहब की जो अपनी स्पीच आई है कि जी ये एक प्रोटोटाइप था और हम आगे भी करेंगे और ये करें। अब देखना ये कि ये असल में ये करने के लिए तैयार हैं या ये अपनी इलेक्शन के लिए ये इस किस्म के धमकियां दे रहे हैं लेकिन एक्चुअल रियलिटी में कुछ नहीं करेंगे। ये तो आगे टाइम ही बताएगा कि वो क्या चाहते हैं। मेरा अपना ये ख्याल है कि जो हिंदुस्तान की अपोजिशन है, पॉलिटिकल अपोजिशन है, और जो उनके जो सही जो थिंकिंग लोग हैं वो ऑलरेडी उन्होंने कहना शुरू कर दिया है कि अब इस चीज़ को डी-एस्केलेट करना चाहिए और इसको आगे नहीं बढ़ाना चाहिए। अब देखते हैं कि वो क्या आगे जाके करते हैं। हाँ, ये हो सकता है कि वो अपनी तरफ से कहेंगे कि जी हमने जो मकासद थे हमने उनको हासिल कर लिए हैं और हमें फर्दर करने, अगर वो इस तरह का लेते हैं तो लेने दें उन्हें, वो करने दें। अगर अपने आप को सेटिस्फाई कर सकते हैं कर लें, लेकिन ग्राउंड रियलिटी जो है वो उन्हें भी पता है जिस तरह से हमें भी पता है। थैंक यू।
हाँ, मैं समझता हूँ कि ये अच्छा एक जेस्चर है हमारी तरफ से, एक ऐसा कदम है जिससे टेंशन कुछ कम हो सकती है। लेकिन टेंशन की वजूहात और बहुत पेचीदा और बुनियादी बहुत सी और बातें हैं, तो वो इसकी वजह से कोई बहुत फ़र्क तो नहीं आएगा। हमें तैयार रहना चाहिए कि भारत से हमारा मसला अभी चलेगा और उसको हम कैसे डील करेंगे। उस मद में ये एक अच्छा कदम है। मैं समझता हूँ कि चाहे उसे रखें चाहे छोड़ें, वो दोनों हालत में मेरा ख़्याल है कि कोई इतना फ़र्क नहीं पड़ेगा हमारे बाहमी मुज़ाकरात में। लेकिन ये एक मसला जो बीच में आ रहा था वो अब नहीं रहेगा, वो जिसकी वजह से बेहतरी आ सकती है।
इंडिया मीडिया कह रहा है कि प्रेशर की वजह से छोड़ा है, तो इसमें आप समझते हैं कि प्रेशर है हमारे?
देखिए, इंडियन मीडिया तो बहुत ही बुरा है, और मैं जाता हूँ इंडियन टीवी पे और वो बड़े ही हर चीज़ में ان کا بڑا غلط اور منفی انداز ہوتا ہے اور وہ ہر چیز کو برا دیکھتے ہیں. تو پاکستان کی طرف سے ان کا تو یہی پاکستان کے بارے میں رویہ ہوتا ہے. اس سے ہمیں فکر نہیں ہے. ہمیں اس چیز کی اگر ہم انڈین میڈیا کے کہنے پہ چلیں گے تو ہم کیا حاصل کریں گے؟
ٹھیک ہے، تھینک یو سر.